Welcome, everybody, to the Jive Sports podcast. I am Brandon, and I'm here with my very dear friend, Zachary, whatever he's going by, Ketchum, this fine morning. He looks so good this morning. Good morning, Zach.
Well, how's it going there, Brandon?
It's going fantastic. Fantastic. Any better, it'd be illegal. How are you this fine morning? 7 a.m. kickoff?
Well, I did get a couple hours of sleep last night, and that helps quite a bit. You know,
Yeah,
I see
usually.
you're drinking coffee over there.
I am drinking coffee. This is not a pitch. This is not a pitch. I do need to have a Starbucks iced coffee. Get them going early in the morning, man.
Yeah, one time I was making some coffee, and my girlfriend is not a coffee person, and I was like, "Well, just try this one. I made it. It's gonna be good." And she takes a sip of it. She said, "That tastes like mud." And I was like, "Well, it was ground this morning."
That's not a good joke. That
Pretty
is
funny.
not a good joke. Please, you better hope that this takes off and you don't have to transition to some sort of a stand-up career. So, what are you sipping on there yourself?
Oh, Perrier. So
Perrier.
that's kind of a funny story in itself because I'm a very brand loyal guy. I don't know if you are. Are you a brand guy?
I am. I can't say for water necessarily, but I suppose yeah. I think I would consider myself a brand guy. But are you the kind of guy that makes everybody else in the room uncomfortable if they're drinking like a rival brand?
No, I don't care what anybody else does. They want to do that to themselves. That's their problem, not mine.
So why the Perrier?
But like without water, you would die. So
I,
shouldn't it be something you took a little more serious?
I mean, it's just I'm an equal opportunity water enjoyer. It's not like I'm boycotting water. Did actually I have a story about where I used to work somewhere and I went up one day and I had a cold bottle of water and I forget what brand it was. We don't have to get weird. Not Dasani, that's garbage water. And I go up to a guy and I'm like, "Hey, do you want a water?" And he said, "I don't drink that shit." And I'm like, "You mean?" And I'm like, "You mean water?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I hate water." And I'm like, "What do you drink?" And he's like, "Diet Coke." And I'm like, I can feel the kidney stones within you, my friend. But I've never heard somebody call water shit, bud. So Perrier.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm a very brand loyal guy, and once I find what I consider to be the best version of that thing, then I accept no substitutes, and neither should anybody else once you find what is perfect, correct?
I suppose so.
And that to me is Perrier. I think it's the greatest water that has ever been, the greatest thirst quencher that has ever been, and I take it very serious. And the company itself, this is nuts to me. I don't get it, but I can be a Karen as well, and I'm very kind of well known for uh, sending these long, very descriptive, angry emails to companies, and Perrier was one of them because uh, this is the original water, Perrier source water, and it's mineral water that is they carbonate it with the natural CO2 from the spring it comes from, and they came out with this Mason Perrier, and it tastes like shit. And what Mason Perrier is what all the other it's like all the other waters that aren't source Perrier, the naturally uh, made with CO2 drink. All the other companies out there are like it's like not natural CO2. So they made Mason, and Mason is the artificial kind of CO2 shit. I'm like, you guys have the real thing. So why are you making a knockoff of your own shit? And I sent a very long, angry email to them. Oh, but the problem is that it's really hard to find these in stores now.
Really?
And last night when I went to CVS, I saw this and I said, maybe they took my email seriously. But Possibly. Maybe I made a difference somewhere because this is perfect. That Mason shit, man, it pisses me off. It's not the first time that like uh something that I was really like loyal to changed. My son shaking the table. Uh, he's a furry, unfortunately. He thinks he's a cat. So yeah, I could ramble on about brand loyalty stuff, but I've had a lot of my favorite things replaced by inferior products, and it really can fucking ruin one's day or life, like me, because I'm always super dramatic. Go ahead. I'll go for 2 hours on this if you don't stop me.
I really appreciate how we gatekeep this podcast because we're 6 minutes in now, and all the fair weather listeners, they're out now. Like the bandwagoners are out. This is only true loyalists if they allow you to ramble for 6 minutes about Perrier, and they're still listening. So let's get into the meat and the potatoes of it.
Well, I'll say one last thing. Maybe one day when we're big, I can go through all my emails and read off, some of these angry emails I've sent.
That would actually be like a little Zach's Karen corner.
Yeah.
We should Jamie, could you write that one, jot that one down, put that one up on the break room bulletin board. So last episode we talked about the NFC, National Football Conference.
Yeah,
Is that what the NFC stands for?
I think so. Yeah.
I would think, right? And now we're going
to
into
be.
the good guys. The NFC's the good guys. The NFC just has better vibes overall than the AFC. I've always kind of seen us as the good guys, but we don't have to get into that. Today we're going to focus on the bad guys, the AFC.
I will say it's a kind of interesting that the AFL NFL merger happened long before you and I were born, but
that is true.
it does feel like the AFC
They're the odd ones, right?
it's new still, even though it isn't. You know what I mean? To me,
It
maybe
feels
because
new.
like the Titans and the Jags and the Texans are all like new. I mean, the Panthers are new too, but it just feels like they're always. There's my son. He thinks he's a cat. All right, go ahead. Yeah, AFC,
It
right?
does. The AFC does feel. The AFC does feel new, different, and maybe it's because there's a bunch of expansion teams, or maybe because we're a byproduct of our environment, and you and I grew up NFC centric, so I feel like we saw more NFC football. I don't know. It does feel. It does feel new. Maybe not entirely exciting. Where do you want to start?
Well, not only that, but to also add to it, for most of our childhood, it was just Colts and Patriots, back and forth. So it felt for a long time like a two team conference.
You're actually right. Yeah, not a whole lot of
Steelers mixed in
parity.
there, and Ravens mixed in there, but mostly Colts and Patriots our whole life.
So now we're gonna talk about them. You want to go classic compass rose? You want to start at the AFC North? You want to tell me? So last episode we kind of just rambled on about our total feelings about the teams at large, and then you had some would say bold, some would say controversial playoff picture. How about we just run it down the same exact way today, right?
Yeah, whatever you want to do, pal.
AFC, the Perrier pitch. You have to make sure you get it like in frame.
I'm not trying to. Should I do it off frame?
You should not do it off frame. We need all the pitches we can get. We need to know that Perrier, they need to know that we're on their side, okay? Everybody needs a friend. Look for the helpers. AFC North. Zach, what teams are in the AFC North?
Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers.
Are we still considering the Browns
a team?
An NFL team?
They're close to being relegated.
Wasn't there talk of them transferring to the Mountain West or something like that? How do we feel about the AFC? How do we feel about the AFC North? Let's start. What's the first one that you said? The Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals.
I think they're a playoff team.
Your favorite team's favorite team. You think they're a playoff team?
Man, they are fun to watch, aren't they?
They're incredibly fun to watch. Like if I'm looking for some sort of neutral game, Joey Burr, Jamar Chase. There's reasons that they're fun.
Unbelievable.
There's fun. the reason that they're fun is because I do feel like the front office mismanages almost any sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of fun, especially in the off season. But also, they might call you up to play defense at sometime this season. So our viewers need to be aware that you might have to take a little hiatus. And every single game is going to be like what, like 48-45, and Joe Burrow has like 383 yards and airs it out 40 times a game. I think that's why they're fun, but you still
40?
think they're a playoff team. Did I lowball it?
I think it's that. Yeah, I would go 50 Av.
50 per game?
Why not?
I mean, like, I guess I think they'd want to avoid that if possible, but you just want to see him sling it. You just want to see Joey Burr sling it. But you still think that they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
Why?
Because of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and
you just think they're too big to fail on offense?
Well, I mean, last year they were, they started off like, what was it, 0-4 or 1-3 or whatever, and
Pretty bad. That's why
they're playing catch up all year. And I think if they can avoid a slow start and we're doing the not an injury podcast, right? So I'm not. This is a world where we're not considering people getting hurt.
Injury sliders are off in this franchise.
And
yes.
yeah, I mean they were a borderline playoff team last year after starting off terrible. So as long as they can do that, then or just not start so poorly, then they should be a playoff team.
Right. Did you see? So they are known for cold starts, right? And that's why they came out and they said that, hey, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, they're going to be playing in the preseason to hopefully avoid that, right? But did you see that play of Joe Burrow? It's a preseason game. I think it was this past week. It's like the second quarter. Burrow's like still in, and he scrambles.
Yeah. Okay.
Like he's running for his life against like these like string 2, string 3 defenders, and they just swarm him. And then he like scrambles backward. He almost takes a safety, and like 300-pound men like fall on top of him. And I'm like, dude, you're like Joe Burrow. You're not like Dylan Gabriel, like fighting for a career. Like you're Joe Burrow. Just fall down. So
even the commentators are like, dude, it's August. Go down. Yeah, it's August.
Bro's acting like it's January and just balling out. So there's our feeling on the Bengals. I think they're a playoff team. They're really fun to watch. How do we feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I've always been a Mike Tomlin fan. I think he's a guy I would want to play for personally, and he does have this playoff streak thing, and I think it ends this year.
You think it ends this year?
Yeah, or did they made it last year, didn't they?
They did.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's gonna end this year then, and that's mostly to do.
You got to say it. Do we got to talk about it?
Well, it's not just that Aaron Rodgers is an older guy, but DK Metcalf is obviously, a freak. I mean, just look at him; he's nuts.
Right.
But I think their number 2 receiver is Calvin Austin.
I was about to say, like, I don't think I could. I don't think I can name it.
And Roman Wilson, who probably going to be, a Triple Crown guy one day because of the Michigan connection. Oh, we should talk about Michigan too. That's another thing I was kind of pissed off about.
Oh, you wanna quickly transition into Michigan?
So, just real quick, because
there's nothing quick with us.
I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Urban Meyer. Did you hear? Dude?
I did. Urban Meyer said, so for the listeners, Urban Meyer said that the NFL should suspend Jim Harbaugh based off of the sign stealing scandal with Connor Stallions in the stands with some sort of disguise, like he's like the Unabomber. Like, yeah, so Urban Meyer, of all people.
Of all people to be outspoken about lack of punishment. Bruh. You? Where has he gone where there wasn't scandal and controversy?
He went to a certain bar, I feel like, in Ohio where he finger banged a co-ed, didn't he?
Well, he gave her a colonoscopy in public, and the girl that he was given this exam to I think is probably around the same age as his daughters, and he's supposed to be a married Christian man.
And wasn't there a report that that when there was his like kicker missed a kick and he would just kick the player?
Yeah,
Like
he
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 would just
kicked
kick it.
him at practice or whatever. It was just treating him like the guy that runs the county fair down the road or something, you know.
And now he's passing down
But yeah, so
rulings.
of all people, this guy. I mean, at Florida, it
Oh my
became
god.
kind of a running joke of all the players that had gotten into uh, like legal problems, or not legal, but like there was a
Not
lot of arrests and
not
cover-ups.
drafted.
Huh?
Nothing.
A
Go.
lot of arrests and cover-ups down there, and then and then he'll do the well, I'm gonna retire or take a year or two off for personal reasons or my health, and then that's just because he knows what's coming
Hmm.
and and wants to get out of there before he gets any of it on him. And he's the guy that's gonna be the spokesperson for NCAA punishment.
He's the holier than thou, just passing judgment from the Supreme Court. That's crazy.
That's just petty shit that you could only expect from somebody from Ohio State. Get
That's
Michigan won, guys. Get over it.
he gets close to the mic. Winners win. I don't know. People, no, we don't have to get into it. We'll get canceled real quick with some angry state fans. We don't have to get
Right,
into it. So
digression over. Go. Where are we? Steelers. Go ahead. You.
the how you feel about the Pittsburgh Steelers is unfortunately just intrinsically tied to how you feel about Aaron Rodgers. That's it. I mean, if you like Aaron Rodgers, if you think he still has it, you think that Mike Tomlin's going to drag them kicking and screaming to like 9-8 and a wild card first round exit, or if you hate Aaron Rodgers and he's going to fold this offense and Mike Tomlin won't be able to find a way. I mean, I don't. I don't know. It's so hard because it's like you always got to bet, right? Like you don't have to like bet, but like Mike Tomlin has always made it happen. He made it happen with the Russell Wilson and Justin Fields experiment, and he still found a way to make it happen. Will he be able to this year? It's hard. It's hard to bet against him, but I don't think they're going to make it. If I had to say so, I don't think they're going to make it. I just think there's too many question marks on offense. Aaron Rodgers is still, MVP. In his prime, probably one of the most prolific quarterbacks of all time. But I
Hmm.
have not seen it in a couple years. And DK Metcalf, I like the idea of DK Metcalf more than I like DK Metcalf. And then who's their running back? Didn't they get Caleb Johnson out of Iowa?
Yeah, but
I like him a lot.
yeah, so do I. Like if he had so obviously for our league we do our rookie draft after the actual NFL draft, and
Yeah.
there was already yeah, there's already speculation um, right out the gate that the Steelers would kind of do a a two running back committee type thing,
Hmm.
but let Warren kind of be the because he's been in the league, I don't know how many years, but he's
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
he's a
More years under his
vet
belt than
now.
Caleb. Yeah.
But that was one thing that was kind of interesting to me because I feel like they've tried to make the Jalen Warren thing happen already, and it hasn't. So I kind of feel he's he's if he was a cat, he's on like live 8. So I mean, they tried doing that last year. He was supposed to be a big deal. We kept hearing about, uh, you know, especially for fantasy players, that he's going to be, you want to have this guy, he's going to be a big deal, and
Hmm.
he's not. But I don't know anybody who's ever really knocked Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, because
Yeah.
he's had one of the most insane careers ever. His numbers are video game numbers, and
It's so true.
he was surprisingly uh, under the radar last year. I think he had like a 3-1, 4-1 uh, TDI ratio last year. Just the Jets suck.
Well, because he won't try and make plays. He if he pads stats a little bit. That's
No,
all I'm gonna say.
I agree. Like those the last two MVPs in Green Bay, I thought were like he's not taking chances. He's throwing very safe balls, and I think he really cares about
That
that
stat line.
ratio, because he never wants to be. the considered the reason they lost. And if you look at his stats and that's the problem that I kind of had with Shedeur Sanders. Just a little quick digression. It's in the same division, so I guess this one's a little bit more
This would be a good
warranted.
segue.
But my thing with Shedeur Sanders, pre-draft and some people having him way high and some people not, was the handful of Colorado games that I watched. Uh, I didn't see him taking a lot of risks either. I thought there's a lot of like safe throws because at the end of the game he's going to be 25 of 30 for 220 and 2 touchdowns. But if you're playing safe like that, then you're not winning games.
So that's and we'll talk about it for the rest of our lives, but they don't play to win, they play to not lose, right?
Well, I don't even know if it's that. I think it's more like there are some guys, especially I can understand Shedeur more than Aaron because Shadeur's in college and he wants those stats to look good because that's kind of how you get to the next level.
Kind
When
of.
you're
I heard.
Aaron Rodgers, yeah, and Aaron Rodgers, he was already considered like you're the man, you're one of the top three, talent wise quarterbacks ever. You have a Super Bowl, you have MVP, so why are you still playing it safe? You
That
know,
yeah, you're right.
that's
So
when you have that cachet is when you can, take those chances and say, well, uh, you guys are always telling me how great I am, so shouldn't I be able to trust myself to just try to make that throw?
go out and make the fucking play, bro.
So yeah, with the Steelers,
Are
to me,
you in or out?
I'm out, but it's more of a lack of offensive firepower that I think is going to hold them back, especially in a division when you have the Bengals and you have the Ravens who can put up points.
Done. We're out. The Steelers just always feel like, isn't it weird that like just when I think of the Steelers, like first of all, like classic team, classic coloring, just like
Yeah, I love their uniforms.
yeah, and it just like I feel like ever since you and I were swimmers, man, they're like they've always been like a defensive team, and
Mm-hmm.
it's always curious how these teams like always fall into they feel like offensive or defensive, and I feel like I don't know, Steelers have always been a defensive team, and now even here, like we're talking about how the defense is going to get it done, but there's question marks on offense, and in 30 years we'll be saying the same damn thing. So speaking of
That what you just said is kind of an interesting thing too, because I've always wondered the same thing about how teams have these identities.
identities, yeah,
Yeah, and you hear people, on the mainstream sports media where it's like, well, they got to get back to who they are. They're a, a, a defense team, but
what are
like
you doing?
like personnel and shit changes, every so often. You're trying to look at them like they were 20 years ago, and there's no one on that team from those teams 20 years ago. So why do they have to be that still?
Not a damn soul is in those hallways that was there 20 years ago. So why are we still chasing the identity? I love that.
The Steelers need to get back to that steel curtain defense.
That's also badass all time. Eventually, we're gonna have to power rank the all the nicknames. God, we're blessed with sports. The Cleveland Browns.
Next.
I mean, do we even want to enter? They're the Saints of they're the Saints of the AFC almost.
All I want to say about them is brown and orange suck. and and what is crazy is that, the Browns were named after the original first owner, right? And there's
Yep.
been an ownership change. It's a different family that owns it. If there's any team in the NFL that should change their fucking name, you know what I mean? They need a new identity.
Have you seen?
Their colors are brown and orange. Their helmets are brown. They're the Browns, and the Browns don't even own the team anymore. And their logo's like a dorky leprechaun.
Or is it a helmet or is it a dog?
Yeah, what are you? It's like a
Imagine.
identity crisis.
Imagine being the 1% of the 1% of the 1% and being able to start and own an NFL team, and you're in God's kingdom, and look at all the colors, and you're browsing the colors,
And the NFL, yeah.
and you're like, I want brown, and the cashier's like, for the color, and he's like, you won't believe it. Can I do a twofer? That's so good.
Brown and orange, dude. Like those are the two worst colors.
Orange Orange is a solid color. It's not top five,
Yeah.
but it's not. It does not belong. We don't have to get into it. There's
It's the
our
best fruit,
orange is the best fruit.
hands down.
You're crazy.
What's the best fruit?
Bananas are pretty versatile.
Yeah, right. They only taste good when they're paired with strawberry.
Strawberry, historically overrated fruit. It's more of a. It's more of a.
Yeah,
It's more
because
of a
the
companion fruit.
the artificial candy flavoring strawberry shit always tastes a lot better than actual strawberries.
Do you know the story about banana flavored candy?
No.
So banana. So everybody says that banana flavored candy does not taste like bananas, right? So there used to be. So it's either Cavendish or Devolution. I'll make this quick, right? So there was a type of banana that was like super widespread. It was like the banana. That's all the bananas were, and it was either Cavendish or Devolution. But they were prone to getting like fungus and like diseases, and they were really really hard to upkeep, right? But everybody said they like tasted amazing. But so then as like farmers and industry and agriculture like booms, and they're like, hey, we need like a ton of bananas, right? And this is not sustainable. They did a new hybrid. They like did the seeds, like people smarter than me, and they made the new kind of modern banana, which is either Cavendish or Devolution, that tastes different, but is easier to upkeep and maintain. The other one goes extinct, right? The other one, I don't think you can get it. It's like, it does not exist, right? That is what all the banana flavored stuff is flavored after. Is that kind of banana. So that's why banana flavored stuff tastes different. This is for real, right? Look it up. And that is our political analysis on the Cleveland Browns.
But the fact that you knew like the two different like or three different like variations or species of bananas is awesome.
Yeah, it's, oh,
I
yeah.
love weird facts like that, and I've never heard or known that there were
Really?
different types of bananas. Is a plantain a banana?
Playing, yeah, it's like a small, like low, sweeter banana in more tropical
Yeah,
climates, I think. So,
but everything you just said is completely new information to me and awesome.
well, of course, yeah, yeah. I'm a well of knowledge. I actually, little known fact, I ran a fruit podcast before this, and we ran out of stuff to talk about pretty quick. So I'm glad it's carrying me through the Cleveland Browns segment. The Ravens. How do we feel about them?
They're in.
They're in. They're of course in.
So I'm also I've been a day one Lamar
Okay.
Jackson truther. Okay,
Have you been?
he is the most, besides Eli Manning, of course, the most disrespected football player of all time. I don't understand it.
He has two
Uh,
MVPs.
he has two MVPs, and all the nonsense from earlier in his career that still kind of, it's a smaller segment now, but it still exists of people that say he's a running back
Mm-hmm.
is nonsense. It's bullshit. Okay, Lamar Jackson is a fucking freak. Not like he's got great football IQ. He makes great decisions, and there's nothing he can't do. And I'm glad I hitched my wagon to his a long time ago because he
Mm-hmm.
is phenomenal, and he's going to break through. He's going to be a champion. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And I think this year, I guess because we're
Don't say the Cowboys thing. Don't say the Cowboys thing. You're gonna say this year is his year.
I I'm going to I'm just say it now. I'm going to pick the Ravens as my Super Bowl champion this year.
What?
Yeah. So in order to make the Super Bowl, you have to make the playoffs, and so uh,
Allegedly,
they're in
they're in. I
for
love
me.
that. And I think I think
For
anybody.
because they were great last year. I'm not sure like if they've had any major additions, but they were already a Super Bowl caliber team to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think adding Hopkins is, he's like 32, 33 years old, but I think he still has some of the most reliable hands in the NFL, and that's really all Lamar needs is somebody he knows that can just catch the ball, especially Hopkins is a pretty tall guy, pretty big guy. So red zone and, red zone targets and stuff should be a thing for him. Uh, there's guys like Hopkins. There's always a place for them, which is why I think my second favorite wide receiver all time is probably Larry Fitzgerald, because uh, he's crazy,
He's
right?
isn't there crazy sad? Like he has more like
Tackles and drops. Yeah,
yes, that's insane.
that's fucking crazy.
That's like one of
That
those like made up
that's
stats. I'm like I don't.
even though I've looked at it, that's fake. Somebody altered the tapes.
Somebody check the fucking Epstein tapes because Larry Fitzgerald's in there with whiteout or liquid paper, whatever the kids are calling it nowadays. I do love Lamar Jackson as well. The Ravens are, of course, a playoff team. I really want them to make a long run. I don't know if I'm going to be as bullish as you and say that they're the Super Bowl guys. Lamar still needs to get over the hump. He needs to show that he can perform in big games. But the league is better when the Ravens are better. When they're performing. I just love their vibe. Bird Bro, of course, Bird Team. They were also in consideration. They weren't on the final list, but when I was picking my fandom when I was younger, but just like as soon as I see like that purple and like that shield, I'm like, let's go, dude. It's
You could
Sunday.
never go wrong with purple.
You can
But
never go wrong with purple.
it's awesome that you're a bird guy, because I'm a fucking bird freak too. We could have a bird watching podcast or something.
Hey, if this
I'm
doesn't
I'm a
work out.
I'm a Raptor fan for sure.
That is the AFC. That's the AFC North. Completely accurate playoff predictions. Let's go. We're
Ravens Bengals.
Ravens Bengals. We are a clockwise household today. We're gonna tick over to the AFC East.
All right, go ahead.
You want me to start? So in the AFC East, correct me if I'm wrong. We do indeed have our friends, the East Rutherford Jets that play at MetLife. We have the Buffalo Bills. We have the New England Patriots, and we have the Miami Dolphins. What's your initial vibe check? What team do you gravitate towards wanting to talk about instantly, my friend?
Well, I think
Don't go the easy way.
there's only one playoff team in this division.
I think so
It's
as well.
pretty obvious. But there's some.
It's Jets.
I've there was a point in time where I would have told you that the Miami Dolphins, I was considering like my AFC fave.
There was a small
Uh,
window there to where everybody was like, they were like, are you talking about like recently or like in the before times?
no, so I'm talking about like I started liking the Dolphins. Let me go back. Rewind.
You a big
It
Tannehill guy?
no, it in sports, I like every team
It's a crazy way to
ever
start a sentence.
because I like players on teams, right? I will watch a team for a player. Now there's only two exceptions to that, and that's the Eagles and the Cowboys. But uh in like the mid 2000s, when I'm playing Madden a lot and stuff, like I really loved the Bills and the
Really?
Dolphins, but I liked the Dolphins kind of like look more.
Their colors.
I love messing with the uniforms and stuff on Madden, and
That's
I
good
thought,
colors.
I mean, the Bills have some pretty sweet uniforms too, but red, white, and blue. As a Giants fan, there's Patriots, Buffalo, Texans. Uh, they're
Is it true? Is it true that if the Miami Dolphins brought back the logo where the dolphin is wearing a helmet, it would usher in a new golden era of world peace and inflation would stop and we could all afford groceries again? Like we need the helmet back on the dolphin.
that's a pretty good possibility. I never considered that as like you know, a earth-shattering, life-changing
Like a canon
situation.
event. Like I mean, I'm just saying, have things been uphill since they took away the helmet? No. So you where did we land? You want to talk about the Dolphins? Let's talk about the Dolphins.
So I said there's one team. I think the Bills get in, obviously, because somebody has to win. They're the best team. They have the best quarterback. The Dolphins, they're always, since the in the McDaniels era, uh, you want to like him because he's a cool guy.
He looks like
Tyreek Hill,
shit. Have you seen him lately?
he's probably he looks like one of those guys that would you know, forget to eat if you didn't like remind him to, right? He's kind of got that mad
You're like,
scientist kind of vibe to him.
you're like, Mike, you got to eat, dude. I haven't seen you eat in a couple of days. He's our fun. What do the kids say? He's our fun, anxious millennial coach. But if you see him, he did a press conference like a month ago, and you know when they show like Obama when he's like
Mhm.
inaugurated, and then they show him like 3 years later, and you're like, this dude's been through it. Mike McDaniel definitely has the same energy right now.
Yeah, I think he obsesses over football, and that was what I was going to say is like the interesting story about them is uh probably is him, and can he survive if they don't perform well this year? And it's tough. He's got to be on the hot seat, whether it's his fault or not.
It's warm. He's putting the back of his hand to it, and he's like, it doesn't feel wrong, but it doesn't feel right now.
I mean, because I mean they did draft Quinn Ewers and they brought in Zach Wilson. I thought it was pretty cool of him to when he got the job to reach out to Tua and say, "Hey, you're my guy," because Brian, there's the beef between Brian Flores and Tua and the Dolphin organization and how Brian Flores wanted Justin Herbert and the owner wanted Tua or however that worked out.
Yeah,
Um, but I thought it was cool that he kind of restored some like self-esteem for Tua
yeah,
because he was made to think that he's the biggest problem there, and he does pretty well when he's healthy. He's not a terrible quarterback. Um, he would probably be the best backup in the league if if uh,
one hundred percent.
if they had a better starter.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure about Quinn Ewers. Um, so their defense has been atrocious uh, for several years,
garbage, right?
and
Yeah,
their offense is very unstable due to their quarterback play. So, for those reasons, I'm out on them.
you're out. Again, I like the idea of the Dolphins better than I actually like the Dolphins. Like I love McDaniel. I do think he obsesses with football, and I think he gets frustrated because I feel like he can he can write up a really good offense. They're so fast, right? Like with Tyreek, and then especially with Devon Achan, which I think is one of the most fun players in the league. Like when he's healthy, we're all better off because of a raw eating good, right? But I do think okay, we'll get into that. But I do think McDaniel gets frustrated when like Tua, dives headfirst into a pile of men and has to take 3 weeks off to get his brain scan. So I think he gets frustrated in that aspect. I'm comfortably out on him as well, but I'm sad to say it.
I think McDaniel has that kind of like, I don't know how, like, I want to say like fatherly kind of like. I think when he looks at his team, are you there?
Yeah, am I here?
Your cam just, oh, there you go. He looks at the guys at practice and he's like he knows what their potential is, and I think when they don't live up to that, he's a little like disappointed, or he's like he
Right.
does he I think he cares about how the media talks about his guys. And so when he sees them mess up, he knows that the media is going to talk about it, and he's probably like, they don't see what I see. They don't understand what like I know what these guys are capable of. I believe in them. And so I think he's a nice guy in that way where he wants them to do well, even if it didn't have like a direct impact on how he's viewed. I think he cares enough about them that like he just wants to see his guys do well. So I think
Right.
he's a caring guy in that way.
He is a caring guy. Kind of Mother Henny. I kind of love it. Let's go to this is a team I'm kind of excited to talk about. Actually, both of these teams are pretty fun to talk about. I think. Spin the wheel. Let's go with the New York Jets. Your roommates in MetLife.
So I never understood the Aaron Glenn as a head coach or like a top
You hate
defensive court.
everybody. You hate everybody involved with the Lions.
There's a rant I could go on. I don't hate him. Um, my thing with Aaron Glenn was 3 years ago, um, when the last time they didn't make the playoffs, but they were like on the bubble. They had like one of the highest scoring offenses, but like one of the worst scoring defenses.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm somebody who thinks that the coordinator is his job is to make his players play better than they should. And so
I hear
this
you.
idea that so good players can make a bad coach look good, but a good coach can make bad players look good, right? And I felt like when the Lions didn't have, you know, 5 or 6 first round defensive guys, they were one of the worst defenses in the league. But then when you get Hutchinson and Branch and Kirby and uh, Jack Campbell and stuff, then they're a quality, top 12, top 10 defense.
Hmm.
They're not lights out win you the game, but they do enough to that they do their job, right?
Right.
So when he did have a bunch of players to use, they became like a decent defense, but they weren't monsters. You were still more concerned about the Lions offense. So to me, he just never uh I just never understood the hype about him. But it's the Jets seem to keep making this the same. I don't know if it's a mistake, okay, but the problem with Robert Saleh was that he was a defensive guy, and everyone's like, "Well, it's an offensive league now," um,
Yeah.
and they got in another defensive coordinator that might be worse than Saleh. At least I respect Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, and I think that's another reason why I think uh, he's the Packers coordinator now, defensive coordinator. So that was one of the reasons that I liked the Packers this year was because of Robert Saleh. So the
I
Jets,
love Robert Saleh.
uh,
I feel like he got dealt a bad hand. So
absolutely, because he's got another crazy owner, and I don't know if you because I'm a New York Giants fan, and I've become a Mets fan over the years just because. Uh, I listen to a lot of like New York sports radio, and there's a guy out there. I think his name's Joe Beningo. You ever heard that name?
Joe Beningo.
I think that's his name.
I,
Anyways,
I've not
he
heard
was
Joe
like
Beningo.
he was a radio personality and a sports radio guy in New York for a while. He's still around, but he got like a little friendly with Robert, and that was when it was kind of like a big news thing where Beningo is basically going on these talk shows and talking about what him and Robert are texting each other and
Hmm.
how and basically put it out there that Salah wasn't big on Zach Wilson while Zach Wilson is still there and creating more fire there than they already had.
It was an
So
absolute shit show.
and then
That
you
entire
bring
10 minutes.
Rodgers in, and then you got to have Nate Hackett, and who's really in charge, and blah blah blah. So he got dealt a really bad hand, and so I'm not really impressed with their offense. I don't understand the Brees Hall hype. I understand that Garrett Wilson is really good because I've seen him make some spectacular
Garrett Wilson's
plays.
insane.
But outside Garrett Wilson, I don't understand. I don't understand Brees Hall and Justin Fields, and I don't like throwing these types of descriptors out, but he is a running back. Okay, the Steelers benched him when he was 4-2 because he refuses to throw the fucking football, and he's going to do the same thing in New York. So just be prepared for that. They're going to be running basically like a veer or a wishbone or wing T, and it's not going to be successful. Spoiler
So
alert.
you're not a Justin Fields believer.
No, good
Okay.
backup.
I want him. I think he's a good kid. I want him to be so good. I don't think he is. Like again, like if we did go back to our little Joe Burrow thing, and you said, I said they're gonna have to air it out 40 times a game, 50 times a game. Justin Fields, I think like when he was in the Steelers offense, wasn't he averaging like 17 or 18 throws a
I don't know.
game?
I was
It's
just always pissed
incredibly
off
low.
because you and I did a little Najee Harris trade, and I was getting so pissed because Najee Harris didn't score a touchdown until like 6 weeks in because every time they got down in the red zone, Justin would hold it and run. Kind of like Jalen
He's
stealing,
he
without the tush push, Saquon would have had like 30 touchdowns last year. You know what I mean?
I actually feel really bad for. I actually feel really, really bad for Saquon. He would have had like he already had a prolific year, but like yeah, Jalen Hawks. The amount of times that players, again, I watch every single snap of every single Eagles game. The amount that players fall down at the 1 yard line, it's almost comical. Like
Yeah,
if it
it
was like
was.
if it was like a show or a movie, I'd be like, "Are you kidding me? Like we're doing this again? It's insane." So we're out on the Jets.
Yeah,
Yeah, we already
you
said
want
one
to
playoff
break it
team, and it
down
was
if
the
you want.
Bills. So
How do you feel about
you want me
Brees
to break
Hall?
down the Jets?
Do you
He
have
doesn't
any?
have the juice, man. I don't know. Like I don't know. Like people, especially in like fantasy leagues and whatnot, you listen to people and they're like, "Hey, Brees Hall, Brees Hall, Brees Hall." I don't understand it. I'm gonna kill my camera. I don't understand the Brees Hall hype. I just don't think he has it. I was big on trying to acquire Braylon Allen stocks. I think he
Mhm.
has more juice. You watch him, like, you just got to watch them run. Like I don't care about like you just watch them run. And I think Braylon Allen's better, but that's fine. Again, I like the idea of Justin Fields. I like the idea of Brees Hall. I think Garrett Wilson's an absolute freak. I think he's probably one of the top 5 most talented wide receivers in the league, and I feel like his career is being wasted on a subpar offense. I'm
How
out
did
on the Jets.
Ohio State just become wide receiver U?
It's kind of insane, isn't it?
Garrett Wilson,
Yep.
JSN,
JSN,
uh, Jeremiah
Marv,
or Smith, Marv. Smith will be
yep,
next year's #1 pick, but
Agbuka.
yeah, I keep forgetting
And
like
I
little shit
know,
like
I
that.
know.
It's crazy.
And
But that was
and
the
then
other thing too. Justin Fields, and we're probably about to get into CJ Stroud in a little bit, but Ohio State quarterbacks, I've I'm just not impressed by. They always
because
go. They
they
always
never
have like a
panned out.
first. Yeah, they always have like a first round, high draft pick quarterback, and for as many as there's been, none of them have done anything with it.
No,
But
the what
we'll
the
get into
like
that.
I know, yeah. Like we'll get into it, but Ohio State quarterbacks, they're known for just getting on to sports shows and being talking heads nowadays, more so than going out there and actually winning games. And then the New England Patriots. I will head this one off. I love Drake May with all my heart. Um, I really want the pay. This is crazy. This is crazy to say. And if there's like a time traveler like outside of the window right now, he's like pounding on the window and he's like, "Take it back." Like I want the Patriots to be good, which is super weird. I think they obviously, yes, they had the dynasty and whatnot, et cetera, et cetera. Your team ruined that for everybody, which I appreciate. And then the Eagles came in as well. Don't worry about it. I just like the idea of the new age Patriots. I like Drake May a lot. I just don't know anybody else on the team. Do they have Travion, right?
Hmm.
Travion Henderson's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. There's no question about it, so we don't have to get into that too much. But I just like the idea of them. They're not going to be good this year. They need to get more weapons. I don't. Besides, I don't know who he's throwing. Jalen Polk, like, is that a player like that's still in the league? Like, I don't
I'm
know. Pop
I'm really
Douglas.
high on Kyle Williams. He was a third
He's
round receiver.
he's from. Where's he from?
Um,
You're so
he
high
is
on him.
from. It was another. You made fun of me because I said TCU
TCU,
wasn't TCU wasn't a big. So it's not TCU, but it is another like TCU kind of caliber team. It's not a
like
good team.
a
Um,
TCU adjacent. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
but I like Kyle Williams, and here's why. And sometimes I need to kind of adopt a little bit more of your approach to my feelings towards players because they can hurt you.
Walking the middle. So then you play both sides, so you always come out on top. That's how I feel about players.
Well, no, I mean you treat like how you feel about players like Mr. Krabs treats the Krabby Patty formula, but he went to
What does
Washington.
that mean?
You
What does
just
that
don't,
mean?
you don't like giving away anything.
They're my players. They're
Go,
my opinions. They're safe with me.
Going back to the trade discussion, he went to Washington State, but leading up to like our rookie draft and stuff, I'm trying to find sleepers and I'm listening to other podcasts, and one guy I respect, and I'm sure you do too, because who doesn't, is Steve Smith. He has a podcast where he analyzes wide receiver play, and he said Kyle Williams reminds him of him. And I was like, that's enough for me to like him. But I was too open about that. And Drew drafted him. And he's like, I didn't even really know who he is, but because you and Skylar keep talking him up so much, now I don't want to trade him, so I shouldn't have told him what I felt. You know what I mean?
You let it loose. You gave too much, man.
Yeah.
You never tell them how the sausage gets made, bro. You never tell them. So you in or out on the Patriots?
Well, yeah, I'm out on them as a playoff team, but I'm on the Drake May bandwagon. I like Kyle Williams. Um, their defense is always solid. Uh, Gonzalez might be, top 5 cornerback.
He's fun.
Uh,
He's fun.
Ramondre Stevenson or Stevens, whatever.
Stevenson.
He's going to be out the door, probably next year because Travion's going to put the league on notice. So
My
Travion's
sweet
fun.
king, Ramondre the Giant was always the boring player. Like it'd be like the third round, and his ADP's way up. Nobody wants to draft Ramondre Stevenson. He was the most boring player that would always get you 15 points in fantasy. He carried me to a few ships. So
Yeah, the Patriots always had some like random running back that would just do well, like James White or
yes, I was about to say James White. You
what
remember
about
the James White game?
then they had that man that
Why can't I think of it?
That Jonas kid that had like a huge 205
Yeah,
yard game. But
yeah.
who was the Minnesota running back that was like LeGarrette Blount had great shit there, but there was that was
Jay
it like
Ajayi? Did
no
Jay Ajayi? Don't fucking look at me like that.
was a Colt. Um,
He was also a Philadelphia Eagle.
oh no, I'm thinking of Joseph Adai. Jay Ajayi was a Dolphin, but
Yeah,
why am I thinking
I know.
Maroney or
We'll
wasn't
look
there
it up. It's right there. It's right there.
Patriots Maroney?
As you
Anyways,
look,
yeah, so they're on the come up, but they're not a playoff team.
how do we feel about the AFC South?
Lawrence Maroney,
Lawrence Maroney.
yeah, that's who he had. Let me just NFL. So he had in 2007 is probably why I remember him because that's the Super Bowl year. 835 yards on 185 touches, and 6 touchdowns.
Doesn't
So he had
sound impressive.
well, and 13 games played and 6 games started. So he wasn't the start like a workhorse, but he was very effective when he did play.
Right.
And he in the playoffs that year, the Super Bowl run, they handed him the ball more. He had uh, 280 rushing, 4.6 average, and uh, 5 receptions, 61 yards. He had 3 TDs in the playoffs, so he was effective in the playoffs too.
They always do kind of have that strange kind of just good floor, low ceiling kind of running back, right?
But I like these digressions a bit because it's always like a funny thing how guys can just sit around and talk about old players,
That's exact.
random players from the past that they remember
Yeah,
for no reason.
you always pick like a wide receiver that like shaped like your teenage years. Let's get into the AFC South. AFC South, Zach. Run
So
us down the teams.
here's probably where I'm going to go down a different path than most people because I just mentioned how uh, I'm not big on Ohio State quarterbacks, and I don't believe in CJ Stroud yet. I understand he had a great rookie year and went to the playoffs and he performed well in the playoffs. Um, but I think that was more fluky than anything. Um, so my playoff pick for that division is going to be the Jags.
Really?
I don't think that's too much of a hot take, other than I'm keeping the Texans out. Who people have the Texans as like a top 12 team. I don't.
That's crazy. I don't think they're a top 12 team. I think there's a lot of question. We're chasing that. We're chasing that high of the rookie season, and then I feel like again those anomalies happen, and then people get off season of tape on it, and then you happen to regress. You happen to regress both skill set, and then also people have more tape on you. It's whatever. And then the offensive line's the biggest question mark. Obviously, this team's
Yeah,
gonna live or die with the offensive line. I don't think they've done too much to make it better.
I think it got worse
Yeah, yeah.
because Tunsil was their best lineman, and they traded him. So
Yeah, yeah, and did not too much to beef it up, right? And you already saw. I think there was like a play in the preseason where like Stroud went in for one, and it was like the Anthony Richardson one where he just got like deleted like instantly, right? And it's like, oh boy, here we go. I really do like the offense. I think the offense is fun. We're a color and vibe check. I really like their coloring. I really like their and I don't know, I just kind of like the vibe. I want them to be better than they are. Their defense is young and pretty exciting as well. Whenever I do like a Madden franchise and I do like a what is it, Superstar, Road to Glory? Yeah, Superstar. And if I play defense, I always end up being picked by the Texans, so I always play in their secondary, and that's always kind of fun. So they're warm to my heart in that. And also, Nico Collins is as good as he is and has respect as he is, he's still underrated. So that's fine.
I think the complete opposite.
You can be wrong.
I get that when Nico is healthy, Stroud and him
We're
have
not
a good
we're not injury podcast.
right, but it has to be mentioned that he doesn't have he can't doesn't finish seasons, and he's had some pretty bad injuries already. And number two there is Christian Kirk, who has the same problem. Who he had like a one big year in Arizona, and then the Jags paid him a bunch of money, and he kind of flamed out there, and now he's the Texans' number two. I'm really high on Jaden Higgins. I like
Okay.
I like him a lot.
They
But
have
then
Noel too. They have like a Noel that they added in the draft as well.
yeah,
Another Jalen?
yeah,
Maybe?
Jalen Noel. So then they're running backs Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb, two old guys that are beaten and battered and
That have
broken
knees that don't work.
with a bad O line, a quarterback I don't believe in, and two injury prone wide receivers. So I think their offense is going to be atrocious.
My camera. That's fine. You think their offense is going to be okay? We don't have to get into the A word. We're going to have to see how the season plays out.
Atrocious.
Let's go
Bad.
to the people that you think are going to win the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars. You love Trevor Lawrence, don't you?
I have a soft spot in my heart for him because I feel like he's been through a lot of the same situations that Danny Jones went through, where he's on his third coach in 5 years, and we talked about Urban Meyer earlier, and so his rookie season, Urban Meyer is his head coach, and he's burning that place down and kicking people and uh, putting his fingers in girls' assholes at bars and stuff.
You can't say.
Is that not what happened? Don't blame me. I didn't do it. He did. Did I do that? Was I at the bar? Anyways, so that was his rookie year, and he had to deal with that. And then Doug Peterson comes in, who you probably have fond memories of,
because he did that. He did that back there. Don't worry about it.
And they had that pretty cool playoff comeback against the Chargers.
Cool.
And it's been kind of downhill since then. But I think if he has some stability and Cohen can give him some of his confidence back, and you get Travis Hunter and you get Brian Thomas, they got that fast running back Tootin that everyone's high on. Brent Strange kind of came on a little bit last year with Evan Ingram being out a lot of the time. I think that their offense is going to be pretty fun to watch. I can't remember if their defense probably wasn't good, but that division is really bad.
Yeah, it's ripe for the taking. No, you make some some.
So I mean, they can get in at like 9-8. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100% they can, and that's probably actually gonna
because they can probably go 5-1 in their division if they can split with the Texans, and that's pretty good already.
Right. Let's go to the two redheaded stepchildren of the AFC South. Right.
What was your thing about the Jags? You didn't say anything.
No, you made some good points, actually. I guess I've not put too much thought into the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence still kind of gives me the ick. People are still like, hey, he's going to be this great quarterback. I feel like if he had any other sort of, I think if it was any other quarterback with any other sort of story coming out of college or whatnot, they would have already been dragged through the town square behind a horse, right? I think he's been given one too many chances. I think this is like, he needs to show up this year. He needs to show up. I think they've given him weapons. Brian Thomas Jr. is one of my favorite players in the league. He's really, really good. He's really fun to watch. But I think they're going for it. I think they made some moves in the draft, and I think Liam Cohen actually is kind of maybe not enough people are talking about him because he had that kind of cringy kind of opener where he's like Duval, but I think he's a better offensive play. Like you remember the Saints last year? Do you remember the beginning? Like the first like 3 weeks, they
Yeah,
were like the best offense in the league, and everybody's like, "Wow, Super Bowl bound," and they're blowing people out. Like I think they're going to be fun to watch. I just have to see it. I just have to see it to believe it.
you don't ever kind of feel bad for quarterbacks when they get into the league and um, like they enter basically a dumpster fire and have these coach carousels.
Um, Jalen Hurts did not have a single the same offensive coordinator in subsequent seasons since high school, and he still found a way to win. So I don't have to. We don't have to get into it too much, but
He he's only he only
winners
does the tush push. I mean, like
winners win. Let's go. Speaking of underrated quarterbacks that were supposed to be first ballot Hall of Famers because they're on my fantasy team, but for some reason, God doesn't want me to be happy. The Colts. It's kind of messed up that Indianapolis is in the AFC South. That's upsetting already. And then obviously the Anthony Richardson experiment. This past week they said that Daniel Jones is going to be the starter. Um, how do you feel about that?
I think Daniel Jones is much better than Aaron Anthony Richardson. So,
At throwing the football, I would say yes. Which if I and I
well, he's
understand this might be a hot. This
he
might
runs
be a
well
hot.
too.
This might be a hot take, Zach. But I do think throwing the football is pretty important for an NFL quarterback. I don't think either are the best at it, but I do think Daniel Jones has a higher floor. I think it's a good call. I think it's a good call. My personal bias, I obviously it'd be awesome if Anthony Richardson, this absolute specimen, this absolute freak, like the best like combine performance and intangibles, like measurables, not intangibles, but the measurables you can get. It would have been really really fun if he just came in and was like a Gen Z Cam Newton and just broke the game. That did not happen. I'm sad about it, but that's okay. It is what it is. But the Colts are always just going to be not that good. I mean, I think Andrew Luck cursed that franchise for the rest of time.
Well, well, it's because of him, but what they did to him, the football gods are punishing them for how uh, basically the football world was robbed of another 10 years of Andrew Luck because of them. That's another Lions problem I have is how they've treated like all-time great players.
You always find a way to loop back to the Lions.
Barry Sanders, arguably best running back all time. I think he is my number one all time.
You love you
Calvin
love shoe
Johnson, arguably the most dominant receiver all time. Uh, and look what they did to those poor guys,
wasted
man.
them, waste their careers, waste
Um,
their talents.
what was I gonna say? Yeah. So when Anthony Richardson was drafted, I posted on Facebook. I see him as an MVP in 5 years, and you were the only one that liked it.
Yeah,
That was the first and only time where I kind of fell into the trap of like combine stats and kind of just looking at highlight plays where I was like, I understand he's kind of like he's raw right now,
hmm
but once he's molded and given a direction, those skills will be amazing if they're
everybody
utilized.
ev- everybody's chasing the next Josh Allen, and it just
And
it
he
they're not growing on trees, bro.
and he has just been a very disappointing.
I would say in a word.
Um,
Um,
but I mean, I like Jonathan Taylor, obviously.
he's kind of
A
boring.
lot of people like, Josh Downs is always like everyone's like sleeper. This is a guy you got to have on your bench because he's a big
I lo-
deal.
I love Josh Downs.
Um, Michael Pittman Jr. has never really impressed me. Alec Pierce hasn't ever really impressed me. Uh, their defense has always been, I guess, I mean, lately has been kind of quality. Um, but their
Forgettable.
offense is lacking. Don't know much about Steichen as being a head coach, but so to me, they're a lot of question marks.
Yeah,
They're
a
not
lot of
there.
question mark.
I don't think they have a franchise QB, unfortunately, as much as I want Daniel Jones. I still want him to be. I want him to have success.
hmm
Okay, not more than the Giants, but I want him
but
to do
enough.
well because I think he was given a raw deal, and he was,
Yeah.
he had Joe Judge, man. Uh, I'm I'm like you, I'm a diehard Giants fan, and I will watch every play of every game if if I have the ability to, if I'm at home or in a place where I can pull it up on my phone or whatever. During the Joe Judge era, um, I came to a point where they were so awful to watch and pissed me off so many times that I remember it like it was yesterday because it scarred me. I was watching the Giants play the Cardinals and I turned it off. I will never forgive Joe Judge. And then and then all the bullshit that came out as he's on his way out about he said, I get phone calls every day from former players who want to come back. Bruh, no, no one's calling you. Your wife probably doesn't call you. No, you're unlikable. I hate you. So,
there's there's some trauma that we're gonna have to unpack over the coming weeks. I love that.
there you go. No, Colts are out.
We're out on the
Out on the
Colts.
Colts.
And then the probably most forgettable team in the league, next to the New Orleans Saints, would be the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are probably my favorite team of all time because they gave us A.J. Brown for Treylon Burks. Props to that front office.
Howie Roseman's a fucking prick.
Yes, everybody's calling Howie. He's the worst person I've ever met, and I love him with all my heart.
He's like me. He's like me, but a general manager.
That's tough. That's tough. I can't possibly sign off on that one.
Trade King.
You're not a trade. No, it's not the same.
Trade King.
In hashtag Trade King.
Great evaluator of talent.
That's a good one. The Titans are a year away from being a year away. What I mean by that is like they are. All these other teams are kind of doing this like half rebuild. Like I feel like the Browns are in a half rebuild. I feel like the Steelers are in a half rebuild right now. The Titans I feel like are in full on rebuild. I think Cam Ward, while kind of
watch what you say, bud.
I feel bad for Cam Ward. I know. Let me go. I feel bad for Cam Ward because I feel like he's the least talked about first overall pick in a long time, simply because of
ever.
Well, Trayvon Walker's up there as well, but so because of the whole Shadur Sanders, all this kind of stuff, and he was I don't want to say forgettable, but he wasn't a sexy prospect coming out, and he went to a team that isn't sexy, and he came from a college that isn't sexy, so like nobody's
Miami's
talking about
sexy?
it. I would not consider Miami sexy. Maybe the city itself, but not. I'm not. Miami's not sexy.
Miami Hurricanes are a fucking.
They're not sexy.
What? There can't be a sexier team.
You think Miami's
Miami Hurricanes?
It's kind of a sexy name now that you say it.
But I mean, like those 2000s teams.
We're in 2025, bro. You graduated. Your back hurts.
But those things matter. There's history there. A lot of NFL like Hall of Famers have come from there.
But they're not okay.
They're alumni. They come back. Michael Irvin goes there sometimes to do little.
They're the girl next door. They are not sexy.
Yes,
anyways, Cam Ward, you can already tell.
We're gonna get fucking some heat for this. I gotta Miami.
Miami's not a sexy team. Miami's not a sexy team. So Cam Ward, you can already tell from the way that he talks to the team, he talks to the press, the players talk about him, the coaching staff talks about him. He's already. I don't have too strong of a preference about his play because I'm not watched enough. I'm not educated enough to be able to say, right? I do think he's a natural leader, and I think that is that's really, really hard to replicate. I think he's going to be fun. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think he's going to be top 10. He's going to do enough to win, and he's not going to lose games. But again, they're a year away from a year away. So there.
I love Cam Ward.
I could tell as soon as I started talking.
I posted a lot about it on Facebook, all last season. Piggybacking off your not sexy take for Miami. They've obviously been in a slump for, you know, quite a while.
Miami or the Titans?
Miami. So
Let it
they didn't
go.
have a lot of weapons there. That uh, Restrepo or whatever his name is was like their number one receiver, and he went out, undrafted. He's not like a really he's not like an athletic kind of threat.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like he's a possession guy. And what Cam Ward was able to do with with that team, I thought was amazing. He put up great numbers.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Your words have meaning. Like we don't want to down. Amazing.
let me pull him up real quick. Anyways, but like I watched him keep them competitive in games where they shouldn't have been, and so a lot of late game heroics. He he's trustworthy, and I like him a lot. It's unfortunate that he went to the Titans, but that's just kind of the nature of how the NFL draft works. The worst teams get the best players, and so unfortunately they're not even a threat for the playoffs.
But you like Cam Ward.
But I think Cam Ward is a franchise foundational quarterback that is going to be a problem for a lot of defenses for the next 15 years. I am very high on Cam Ward.
Holy cow! I did not
So
expect this
he
coming
went
out.
10-3 last year, 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, with four TDs on the ground and another 200 yards. So 4,500 total and 43 touchdowns,
He's
39
game.
passing touchdowns with
It's college.
when your best receiver is Xavier Restrepo, and they had that Cam McCormick tight end. You know about him? He's been
Mm,
in college football for like 8 or 9 years.
really?
Yeah,
That's
uh,
crazy. One of those people that like yeah, like that they
injuries and red shirts, and
and
somehow
COVID
managed to. And he's been on like 3 or 4 different teams or something.
and he
But I
declares for the
was,
draft at 26 and a half and he has like an MBA. Like yeah, 100%.
but I'm very high on Cam Ward.
We love Cam Ward, we hate the Titans. Done. Now our final one, the AFC West. Potentially could do what the NFC East did a couple years back and could have 3 playoff teams. Let's start before we get into the toxicity, right? Before we unpack that. Let's go to the Raiders. How do we feel about the Raiders? How do we feel about Pete Carroll, the new look offense? Obviously, Brock Bowers is the single greatest player of all time. We love Brock Bowers. Ashton Genty, despite disappointing first, an actual alarming preseason outing where he had like 3 rushes for -4 yards. He came into his own. He's going to be fun. And Geno Smith, however much credit you put onto him, how are you feeling?
About I'm sorry,
The Raiders.
the Raiders. Geno Smith over the last couple of years has grown on me, because for a long time he was, the bust in New York.
I wouldn't have expected that out of you.
Never,
That's
well, I mean, he was so underwhelming as a Jet, and you just kind of think he's another guy that you can just write off. And he had that quote, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back or whatever. And that,
banger.
and
I love quotes. That's an all timer. All timer.
the most recent one where he said, "I didn't come here to roll the dice. I came here to run the table."
He said that.
Goosebumps, bro.
100%. I got it, dude. That's
So
insane.
I like him a lot.
MVP.
You can't say enough about what Gene T his potential is. You still have to do it. You can't just think about it. I like Jack Besh
Oh
um,
yeah.
as a wide receiver to be like a good quality possession, reliable. Being that he's a white guy, he kind of gives me Jordy Nelson, Adam Thielen vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who's their number? Jacoby Myers. Obviously Brock Bowers and Pete Carroll's a defensive guy, and their defense is okay. So I think they're on the come up. I don't know if Geno, because of Geno's age, he's probably not the long term solution there. but for the next 2 years to be competitive and maybe get your quarterback next year and have Gino be the mentor bridge,
Yeah.
the bridge guy, I think they are set up for success long term with a lot of their young guys. But they're not going to be a playoff team this year.
Are we concerned about Pete Carroll? He's like 76.
No, I'm not concerned about him because all you have to do is watch him.
He is we'll talk throughout the season because they're gonna have some wins, right? Pete Carroll wrote an amazing book. I actually really love Pete Carroll. He has a great coaching philosophy. I'm rooting
Cheat,
for the Raiders. Huh?
cheat. I'm just thinking about the
You
USC Trojans.
you can't just say that's a great one word answer, and I was completely caught off
No,
guard about it.
I'm kidding about him being a cheater, but I mean we're talking about you know Michigan sign stealing. I mean they had the most stacked rosters ever for like 3 years.
So we're out on the Raiders, but we do wish them the best. And they're going to be a fun team, young, aspiring team. Maybe another team that's the year away from a year
But I mean,
away.
have you seen the clips? I mean, these have been around for years and years of Pete Carroll like out there practicing and running routes
I
and
love
shit
it.
like that. Yeah, so
Breaking up fights and shit. Yeah, he's
his
out there, dude.
age is not a problem for me.
He did like a one hander this off season, this training camp. So, now let's just belly of the beast. The Kansas City Chiefs. Historically known for the most embarrassing Super Bowl loss in recent memory. The real score was 40-6, and I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about this 40-22 nonsense garbage time after we literally have Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett taking snaps under center. I don't want to talk about it. Are the Kansas City Chiefs going to the playoffs this year? Probably. Right? Are they going to the Super Bowl? That's how fucked up it is, by the way. That the question is not if they're going to the playoffs, if they're going to the Super Bowl. Zach, are they going to the Super Bowl?
Well, I told you Ravens are my AFC team and or they're my Super Bowl pick, so it can't be.
How far are they making it?
I think they can be a conference championship team,
Yeah, they're
and
gonna find a way.
Lamar's gonna have to beat Pat to ascend to the next level. I think whichever one of those two teams goes wins.
Wow,
So that's
that's
the
a
Super Bowl is the AFC Championship game. But the process of elimination, I had one out of the East, two out of the North, one out of the South. So there has to be three AFC West teams, and we already took the Raiders out.
So it's going to be all three of the few teams we're going to get into are going to be making the playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs, again, we don't have enough time to unpack all of that. They're just perennial winners. Andy Reid, I do love him with all my heart. Great coach. Patrick Mahomes, probably the most talented quarterback to ever play the position, or at least ones that we've seen at our peak in our lifetime. So really, really good. And they just find ways to win. Let's go into maybe the two other teams that are a
Steve
bit more.
Spagnuolo.
Steve Spagnuolo, absolutely incredible defensive coordinator, unless it's the Super Bowl, this past Super Bowl. Let's go into which one,
Oh,
let's,
okay. Real quick on the Chiefs thing.
yeah.
What are what are your thoughts on the Rashee Rice, legal situation? Because I, man, I'm somebody who likes giving people second chances. I'm not gonna say Rashee Rice is a bad guy. I don't know him, but the little hit and run thing really bothers me
Not a big
because
fan of hit and runs.
because I mean there was not even the slightest kind of concern for anybody else. They just get out of the car and walk away. That bothers me. And
Is
I
Rasheed, he's the one that, yeah, no, not a good, kind of a character concern. I'm not inviting him to dinner. Um, but I guess I've not looked too much into the actual situation. I just know bad man did bad thing. Bad man play football good. Bad man play football still. So I'm not quite sure about.
I mean, for me, when you have like the Henry Ruggs situation, that was a DUI and that ended two people's lives.
Yeah,
So that's obviously a much more serious situation because there were deaths involved.
I know, but
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 we can't
because
weigh
of
it based off of just the
well,
end result.
I'm saying because of that,
Like it's still
um,
bad.
I think there has to be a significant punishment. You know, um,
He's gonna get 3 games, and that's all we can do.
I think it's going to be 6, but I mean, I would probably like to see even 10 or I don't want to go the full season route, but I'm saying like this is kind of a big thing for me.
Is
I'm not. I
this really tore you up?
I just I don't I have issues with people that don't seem to have concern for others. You
Yeah,
know,
I can hear
uh,
you.
and the NFL has always had a kind of image problem with people, legal issues and domestic violence in general. And you could really make an example out of somebody and set a tone. And once again, too, you're not you don't I don't know if you uh, follow NBA a lot, do you? You know who
I
John
do.
Morant is.
I do. Yeah.
So
Right.
uh,
That was that good. Yeah, that's about all I know about the NBA.
yeah, he's the gun guy,
The
which
gun
makes
guy.
no sense. But um, Kwame Brown had a take about him that I liked, and it's not really even just a Kwame Brown take because it's kind of always been a thing that you know wiser older guys have always said. If you're doing, if you're with if you're calling people your friends who are allowing you to get into problems like this, those people aren't your friends. You know what I mean?
That we sound like an after school special right now, but no, 100%, 100%.
So, they were racing these, Lamborghinis or whatever on the fucking highway, and he's got a car full of people, and nobody's saying he's he's the fucking breadwinner. He's feeding us all. We're gonna let him possibly get in fucking trouble. No. Hey, Rasheed, we're gonna go home and just fucking chill at home, bro.
That had to happen. All
It,
that's had to
it's
happen.
unfortunate.
It
I
is.
believe he's sorry now, but I would consider suspending him uh, a lot,
A lot. Make an
a lot
example.
more than he's going to get. All right,
Yeah.
go ahead. Broncos, Chargers, whatever.
Let's go. I like the Broncos. Let's talk about the Broncos. I really like the Broncos. Bo Nix. I'm higher on him than probably I should be. I like the idea of Bo Nix. Bo is just a like all time name. Like all time
Hmm.
name. Bo Nix, vibe check, amazing, right? Sean Payton, I think, is a really, really good coach. And again, I like their coloring. I like their vibes. And their defense, even though people keep talking about it, it's probably one of the best defenses in the league, and I feel like people aren't talking about it enough, right? And again, that's also kind of like it feels like an identity that they've kind of had, you know. Like I don't know, I like the idea of their defense. Patrick Surtain, obviously, one of the best players in the league right now. Who's their so also Sean Payton got he did his thing where he got a running back, and who's their running back?
RJ Harvey, but they brought in Dobbins too.
Yes, so that everybody's really, really high. You talk to any sort of dynasty nerd,
I
everybody's
like
high on
Harvey.
RJ Harvey because Sean Payton's going to will it into existence, right, with his offensive game plan. I do think the Broncos are a playoff team. The world would be a better place if the Broncos make a deep run. That's my take.
Um, Bo, yeah. My dad actually told me before that he wanted to name me Bo, and my mom didn't like it.
You'd be a great Bo.
Right, I agree. I think Bo is much cooler than Zach. I always say I feel weird growing old because if I'm fortunate enough, one day I could be like a 75, 80-year-old Zach, and that just sounds kind of weird because I've never met an older guy named Zach.
There's like a great filter taking Zach's out right about like 49 years old.
Yeah,
Like
because
you guys are like engineered.
they're all named Jim or George or John.
Who's the old anybody listening? Who's the oldest Zach you know?
The only the only one I can think of is Zachary Taylor because he was a president. You know what I mean? So he had to have been old. He appears probably like 45, but because it was like 150, 100 years ago, that's like old for them.
I want to know that. I want to know about current oldest living Zach. I need to
That's
hear
a
it.
that's a good. Hey Jimmy, make a poll.
Yes, Jamie, poll it.
But so if Mike Sarenstill wasn't as
Sounds
cool
still.
as he is, Pat Surtain would be my favorite defensive player. I think he is the best defensive player in the league.
Nah, that's Quinion Mitchell, but that's fine.
No, Pat Surtain Jr. is a monster.
Absolute
He,
freak.
their defense has been that's been their calling card for the last several years. I would think of them more historically as an offensive team. If you look at like Elway
Historically, yeah, but I feel like
and Terrell
recently,
Davis, and I mean, but then Peyton Manning, that record-setting shit. But yeah, the last several years, it's been a defensive squad. I mean, defense won them that Super Bowl too, with Von Miller and Elvis Doomerville. Um,
greatest all time name, just all time name, man. Holy
was he on
cow!
the team, or do I just like him a lot? I don't know.
I,
But I also have a thing. I have an affinity for college quarterbacks that play a lot of games, and Bo Nix played a lot of games,
he's
and
old. I think he's older than like a lot of people give him credit for. Right? He's another one of those weird like little holdovers. Had an extra year or so.
but so I mean, I believe reps matter.
100%.
So I was high on him coming out. That's kind of why I kind of like uh, some other people that I like. I can't think right now, but I like him a lot. They need some wide receiver help, but the running game is going to be good. The defense is going to be good, and Bo Nix is going to play smart. Uh, don't turn the ball over and be efficient. Pretty
Broncos in.
simple. Yeah.
And now we'll end it with the Los Angeles Chargers. Jim Harbaugh. Urban Meyer is somewhere right now listening to this, kicking and screaming. The Chargers are indeed a playoff team.
Reminder that Urban Meyer gave a girl a colonoscopy in a bar.
If Jamie, if you're keeping, this is the third time Zach has mentioned this incident.
Well, I mean, look. This isn't going to be, an adult. Uh, how do I want to say this without
I don't know how you want to say it. I don't even think you know. I don't even think you want to say it.
in relationships between two consenting adults? Uh, there's a little, grabbing a little cheek can be a little playful type thing, right? It's not a big deal. Um, but putting your fingers in a girl's butt, what are you looking for in there? You're looking for Jimmy Hoffa? What are you thinking, bud? Urban, leave Jim Harbaugh's name out of your mouth, bro. For I will Smith your ass. Jim Harbaugh, the GOAT, playoffs. Justin Herbert, uh, Trey Harris, who, hey, let's make a trade.
I would
Um,
never.
Omarion Hampton,
Say the other guy. Say another all time name, Lad McConkey.
McConkey.
Lad
What a
McConkey.
fucking name. That's like the most is he's got to be Irish, right? Like that's like an Irish name if I've ever heard one.
Next time
Lad McConkey. That is an AI generated name. That's like a year 12 of a Madden franchise.
it sounds like he was written by J.K. Rowling because she always had like terrible like on the nose name like Seamus Finnegan like Lad McConkey.
Yeah, but they're in.
Oh my goodness. That's it. That's the AFC playoff picture. Completely accurate. Nothing's going to change. Place your future bets right now and hammer all those teams going to the playoffs. To recap, Zach, we have the AFC West. We have the Kansas City Chiefs. We have the Los Angeles Chargers, Urban Meyer notwithstanding. We have the Bo Nix-led Denver Broncos. We have the Lamar Jackson Baltimore Ravens. We have the Cincinnati Bengals. And who else? You have the Buffalo Bills. And
Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Jags, Bills, Bengals, Ravens. And I will say it was kind of a coin flip between the Broncos and the Steelers. I really had to think about that one, but I just went Broncos.
And I would put that's tough. We got like the Texans as well, but we're gonna have to see how the season plays out, aren't we, my dear friend?
Yeah, I mean before we go, you had the really interesting banana flavoring fact earlier.
I did have
I
the
was
banana flavoring fact.
I
Yeah.
was watching some shit on scuba diving the other day. Do you ever watch a scuba diving video? They fall backwards out of the boat.
Yeah.
Do you know why they
That's about. Hang on, my knowledge of scuba diving starts and ends there. So like, that's all I know about scuba diving.
You know to fall backwards out of the boat, right?
Yes.
Do you know why they do that?
I don't.
Well, if they fell forwards, they would still be in the boat.
I'm so
Bye.